Howdy, folks. Read Absolute Carnage, just the Absolute Carnage part of the storyline. It's one of the big Marvel interlocking crossover books. Generally, when they do that, they've been doing it in a way I approve. I like it a lot. It doesn't go into the mainstream books too much, maybe one or two books, but they'll do a series of like six books. This one's like six books called Absolute Carnage. But then, and this was good. This was really good. Um, it's a story of Carnage, and I'll explain how things go. But it's a story. It's a Carnage story, and one of the best things is Carnage isn't that great of a character. I mean, he's really popular, but he's just I'm really really mean, And basically, it always takes Spider-Man and Venom coming together to stop him, and that's what the story's about, and that's really cool because Venom's a good character. He's a well fleshed out character. Um, Carnage is just an insane serial killer who has the symbiote, and yeah, people like him, but I don't know. I don't have any see anything to him. Whereas Venom is more conflicted and more. He's good. He's a really good character. So, as you could tell from the movie, it was really good. So, anyways, this was just the Absolute Carnage series, and the idea is Carnage realizes that if he can get the codexes, is what they're calling them, from everyone who had a symbiote, because once that suit goes on you, it leaves a trace in your spinal cord. Most of the people who had a Venom symbiote suit are dead, and he's dug them all up and taken those out. And leaves the bodies behind, but they realize, oh no, he's going to the back of their neck and taking something out of the spinal cord, and they realize if he gets all the codex, and I guess Peter Parker would have a codex, and of course Eddie Brock has a codex, that's why they're teaming up to stop him. If he gets them all, because of course Peter Parker had the symbiote suit. If you saw Spider-Man 3, really foretelling of that story. And so they're going out to stop him, and, well, spoilers, eventually they do. It's a mini-series. It ended. But if he gets them all, he becomes God, like the symbiote god named Null. Not much more to it. The art is nice. Danny Cates is a big sensation. He's a good writer. He's really popular. The art is fine. It's a little bit. It's fine. I'm not impressed with it. I would not buy a piece of it. I would not hang a piece of it on my wall. I thoroughly enjoyed it in the book. One of the things here is, of course, in the front cover, what I mean by other books. Let's see if I can get this shown better. Here's an ad for Absolute Carnage Miles Morales, okay? So there is a 6-issue series of Miles Morales fighting Absolute Carnage. There is, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Here's Hulk and others. So these are like, it crossed into an issue of Hulk and it crossed into issues, so those are all of them put together. We've got Carnage vs. Deadpool, which sounds like a fun one. Lethal Protectors, which the Lethal Protectors are all a bunch of symbiotes. And Scream, which is Carnage's daughter. And those were all miniseries made into their own issues. You can read them separate, but they do go all together. And I am deciding I want to read them all. I'm going to try and track them down. And this time, I mean, it just came out. They came out in November, December, so it's not like it's an old book. A trade that came out then is around. If it's around. That's one of the problems. Is when I read a trade like this, now I'm going to put it on Amazon. I always put it on a shelf of books. And I read a lot of trades, as you might have guessed, by seeing some of my reviews on the trades I've read just in the last year. And I've read a lot more than that. And once a month, a trade might sell, once every other month. Not biggies on Amazon, but I sold them for whatever, I don't really sell comics to make money. If I do, I get lucky. Like Basket Full of Heads I just got. in the mail. The store was out of it when I got my books. Number 7. I'll read it. I'll put it up for sale. I paid $3.99, and if someone wants to give me $2, I'll take it. They want to give me $1, I'll take it. I mean, I'm done. I'm not a collector anymore. So, but I wanted to read it, and I know you're gonna tell me just digital. You don't, yeah, whatever. I don't like digital. Tough. Um, so I'll take whatever I can get for it. Make some of my money back. To me, it's as if you went to the movies, you watched the movie, and when you walked out, someone handed you a quarter just for having been to the movie. Like, whoa, I got some of my money back, That's cool. That's all it is to me. Anyways, so these books, though, I had them all put up, and I had a whole shelf in my comic room of trades. More than a shelf and a half. I'm down to half a shelf. Over the last 3, 4, 5 days, these things have been selling like 6, 10 books a day. People are buying trade paperbacks and hardbacks and everything like crazy off of Amazon. It's the quarantine. They're home. They want to get something meaty to read. So I don't know if I'll be able to find that Miles Morales or any of those, because that stuff sold out, and it's just all my stuff is flying. I haven't looked for anything, but boy, they've been selling so fast. I mean, not for a lot, a couple bucks here. Some went for more, some went for less, but they're gone. I mean, at least all my old stuff that to me was like, I bought it, I read it, and if you buy books, even books, you buy the latest Clive Cussler book or Daniel Steele, or I'm probably dating myself or something. I don't know. You read it, and now you have a worthless thing, right? So I don't know. What do you do with it? I sell them. Sell them for whatever. I don't care. I'll take anything for it is my idea, which I think is a way to do it. Anyways, whatever. Because of all this and puzzles, I don't have any puzzles, but I've been told anyone who had puzzles has no puzzles in stock. Puzzles have sold. That was the hottest product on Amazon this month, was puzzles. I think Lego was up there too. Anything that video games are huge. Video game systems are selling out. Anything people can do at home. And so books, they sold out. I think I sold 2/3 of my books. Pretty wild. And I think I want to give you some news about the comic book industry. Diamond just made an announcement that it's bad. It's really bad. If you've heard me talk, Diamond is a monopoly. If you make books and you want them in every comic book store, you have to go through Diamond. You can't go through Scholastic. Well, Scholastic would not do most books, but like Scholastic delivers to bookstores. They would deliver to comic book stores. If a comic book store opened an account with Scholastic, they could buy Scholastic books. And some do. Some are comic books in this. I know of comic books and coffee, whatever. You can have multiple accounts. But the only place to get comic books, if you're DC Comics and you want to sell your product, you had to go through Diamond. Marvel had to go through Diamond. Now, there are a few a lot of bigger, smaller companies like Dark Horse and Image had to go through Diamond. And there is that one smaller company, what was it called? TKO Comics. I reviewed their first issues. They are doing it where you have to buy from them. They don't want to deal with Diamond, and that was about a year ago they were making this stance. Unfortunately, they didn't come out with anything again except for their first 4 books. I never saw anything else out from them. So I don't know if their stance worked so well, but it sure will now, because I know a friend of, someone I know. I've never met him, so I can't really say he's a friend, but we're friendly. His name's Snap T, and I don't know if he's an owner or has a ownership or something in a comic book company called Keenspot. That's who I feel sorry for on this new move that Diamond's making, because Diamond came out and said this week, actually on April, was it yesterday? Tuesday? This week, came out and said, we're not paying our vendors. We don't have the money. Last week they said they're not delivering any new books to any stores. Now they came back and said, our stores are not paying us, which, why would you pay them if you're not getting your books, So we're not paying the vendors. So that means these people that had 30-day terms, like DC and Marvel and everyone else, has given Diamond these books on credit. They're not getting paid for them yet. And I don't know what Diamond's going to work out, if Diamond's going to exist in a month or two. And it could be really bad. I mean, I really feel sorry for people like Keenspot, because it could be a huge amount of money to them. That's a huge amount of money to Marvel, but it's not a huge amount to Disney, and Disney owns Marvel. I mean, as far as Disney's concerned, they would cancel all the comic books in a heartbeat, because comic books don't make them much of any money. It's kind of they probably make some, but nothing on their ledger. It's like, oh yeah, they made us a few dollars, great. The problem is they can't really discontinue the books, because they make billions on the movies. And you don't need the books to make the movies, but you kind of need the books to give the movies legitimacy. If all of a sudden there was no Iron Man printed, no Spider-Man printed, no Captain America printed, no Avengers printed, and you make an Avengers movie, it kind of loses its appeal. And they know that, because you've seen a lot of stuff that was made from books that are not printed, and it never, like, back in the 90s, there was a movie called The Phantom with Alec Baldwin. I think it was, no, it was not with Alec Baldwin. That was The Shadow. It was also a flop. The Shadow, it was Timothy Zahn that was The Phantom. They were both mega flops. Dick Tracy was a mega flop. Now, they weren't all good. They weren't bad. I believe Shadow was okay, and Phantom was very good, if I remember. Dick Tracy was good. Don't worry, part of the reason they failed was the fact that who knew who those characters were? They weren't being made anymore. They were gone. There were no comics or anything. So what's a Phantom? Why go see it? What's a Shadow? Why go see it? And that would be what would kind of happen if you discontinued comic books completely. There's no Batman produced. Why go see Batman? So I think they could finally have their reason for saying, look, we lost too much money on comics without being able to sell them. Comics are done. They could say that, Disney could say that, and they would be justified, because they don't make a lot. Now, the small companies, like a Keenspot, they were selling books on their own and online prior to this. I don't know how much they got invested into Diamond and how much Diamond owes them. I just feel really sorry. I hope things work out. I hope it's not big enough to hurt them, because I've known many of people who've gotten hurt by, getting in bed with Walmart or whatever. They sell to Walmart, and then all of a sudden Walmart, I mean, this is how I knew a guy who sold earrings. Sold them to Walmart, and a friend of mine actually said no to these terms. He goes, I don't care if I'm selling to Walmart. I'm not taking your terms. Their terms were they were going to sell what they could all year, and then they pay for what's sold at the end of the year. And a lot of people get so excited because Walmart's going to sell and sell and sell and sell. And sure, Walmart bought and bought and bought all year. And then at the end of the year, like 90% of his stock came back because they weren't putting it out or whatever. They decided not to do it. Put them right out of business. And a lot of people didn't know those could block. I've seen other people that are big put people out of business because they create these crazy terms because they're the monopoly. Walmart's pretty damn close to a monopoly. There's Walmart, there's Target, there's a lot of stores, but the idea is there. When you see that money, it's hard to say no, but sometimes you might have to, I think. I've always said that, but I was afraid of Diamond doing this. They can really, if they hurt the big guys, that kills the small guys. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know what's going to happen. I said that last week, and now it looks even worse. For there being comic books. There's going to be digital. There's going to be the stories. It's going to be out there. But it's going to be 2 months when things change in the stores. The few stores that reopen and the dust settles, and it's going to be a whole different world in the comic book world, too. Every world is going to be different. Every little micro microcosm of our world is going to be changed a lot. And we see that and we know it, but a lot of things you don't think about because you don't live it, it's got to be changed. It's some of the stuff's not going to make it. So, all right. Well, what exciting and nice news to end this on. And if you can find it, read Absolute Carnage. It's a delightful read. Seeing Spider-Man and Venom working together was just fun, and it is a Carnage book, but it's not Carnage heavy. It's really Venom and Spider-Man heavy, so I dug it that way. All right, thanks a lot, folks. Have a good one.